MD, this is Chris Minnes at Venice Golds, getting ready for the Excalibur. We're 16 days out, and today knocking out some bis and tris. All right, started out arm day with the preacher machine. This time we start a little bit light, just want to get some blood into the arms, get a little pump. Not going to failure right away. As I do move into the third and fourth set, we start to approach failure a little bit and really start to feel the burn, but we save the heavy stuff for later. Moving on to a heavier straight bar curl. Again, pyramiding up, doing about 4 sets. One of them's a warm-up. We don't really count that one so much. Each time, adding in a little bit with weight. When we get to the last one, you'll definitely notice I compromise form a little bit. I start clean, but towards the end, start swinging the body, doing some cheat curls. This really just completely exhausts everything you have left in the bicep. I kind of see it as it's like getting an assist or getting a spot to really squeeze out those last few reps and pump as much blood into the bicep as possible. Now, I like to break up my training on arm day. I go, occasionally I go biceps, triceps, biceps, triceps. And what this does, it allows my biceps to recover a little bit while I go and do triceps. Then when I go back to biceps, I'm able to pound out quite a bit more weight, quite a bit more reps. So now I'm going to move over to triceps and just warm up the tris, get a little blood in there, and start with some rope push downs. Again, high reps to start with, really focusing on the squeeze, trying to push out the head of the tricep every time I do the movement. All right, moving on to the French press now. Here we sit down, lock myself into place, and toss that thing on my shoulder and press straight up. Now, as I come down into the negative, it's important to stretch while keeping the elbows together. You really want to keep tension on the tricep throughout the entire movement. Push it above your head, not quite over, slightly behind. Again, trying to keep tension on the tricep. Again, making sure you're pushing that out real hard. All right, now back to biceps. The blood's come out of the arms a little bit, and I think I'm going to be able to push out some extra reps for this reason. Heading over to the cable curl. Now, this is a little different version. A lot of people do flies on this machine. I like this one because when you let out your arms, you get a nice stretch across the bicep. Really stretches the fascia. Then as you come up, it's important that you keep the pressure on your arm the whole time. This means you've got to push your elbow out just a little bit as you curl your wrists in, and this will push out the peaks quite a bit. Pretty excruciating by the end of the set. All right, moving on to the skull crusher superset with basically a narrow grip bench press. Here I'll start with the skull crusher. With the skull crusher, I start by pushing the weight above my head, and then I move it a few inches back. So rather than having the weight above directly above my face, there's really no resistance on the triceps. So I move the weight back above my forehead, put my arms at a slight angle. Now there's resistance against my tricep. I'll bring the weight down just about to my forehead, hence the skull crusher, making sure I keep my elbows together throughout the entire movement. This really helps keep pressure on the elbows as opposed to allowing it to fall into the shoulders. Come up, right above the forehead, contract, and that's a skull crusher. Then moving on to the second part of the superset, that's a narrow bench press. Here I'm doing it with the easy bar, of course, and since my triceps are already pre-exhausted from the skull crushers, it doesn't take a lot of weight. Now when doing this, you got to keep your elbows really close to your body, keeps the tension on your tricep the whole time, and always make sure you lock this movement out because the triceps really become incorporated in the movement towards the end of the rep range. And that's the narrow press. Really, since you pre-exhausted, it only takes 10 or 15 with a lightweight to make you feel pretty fried. All right, back over to biceps. Here we're going to go to a variation of the preacher curl. This is on a machine, and here we're keeping the arms high. When I go through my bicep workout, I like to do my curls with a low arm, as you saw on the cable, a mid arm, as you saw on the preacher machine, and now I'm going to finish up with a high arm. A high arm tends to hit the outside of the bicep and really helps build up the peak. Here I'm going to finish off because I'm going to do some drop sets. I'll do three drop sets and 2 sets to really just burn out my biceps. right, we're going to finish off today with a little forearm pump. This one I go on the incline bench and lay on my stomach, as you can see. Here it's really important to go to a full stretch, a full extension. I even engage my triceps a little, just flex those out a little bit. Come up with a slow controlled movement, and it's a hammer position. The hammer position hits the upper half of your arms to really give you thickness in your forearm. All right, so finalizing the last 16 days up to the Excalibur. Feeling pretty good right now. I have some low carb days. I go high carb. Right now it's a 2-day of low, 1 day of high. I've just started my low carb day, so I've got plenty of carbs left in me, feeling good. By the end of tomorrow, I'll probably be a little spacey and we'll have a little bit less energy for my workouts than usual. Then I go back to the high carb, and this way it keeps my metabolism really in check, continue losing fat as I continue up towards the final days of the competition. So a few days out, stay tuned to MD, keep track of what's going on, and we'll see you soon.